everyone. How you guys doing today?
Good.
Thank you.
All right. Today we're going to be talking about public smoking. Between the years of 1964 and 2014, approximately 2.5 million people have died from exposure to secondhand smoke. We could all think back to a time and a moment in our lives where we had to endure these public smokers and the secondhand smoke they bring and the toxins. After firsthand experience and deliberate research, I have fully realized what about secondhand smoke is so bad and how we can solve this problem. Now, each year for public smoking, a recent study published by the medical journal Circulation reviewed 13 studies from around the world where banning public smoking and can reduce heart attacks by 36% over time, regardless of geographic location. So regardless of where you are in the world, if we can reduce public smoking, 36% less people will die. Studies have also shown that smoke-free laws that prohibit public smoking, like in bars and restaurants, have improved the health of workers and the general population. So basically, by preventing other people from getting at risk of public smoking, we can reduce a significant amount of deaths. Tobacco smoke, even in outdoors, can trigger asthma attacks, bronchial infections, and other serious problems in non-smokers. Breathing smoke for as little as over 30 minutes a day can raise a non-smoker's risk of suffering a fatal heart attack to that of a smoker. So even someone that's not actually doing the action of smoking can actually have a higher chance of getting these cancers and stuff from smoking. Around 7,000 people each year die from lung cancer, and 34,000 deaths are from heart disease each year. Now, while secondhand smoking is a big factor as to why a lot of people are affected by public smoking, another big reason is litter. Discarded cigarettes cause for a great amount of litter. Cigarette butts account for millions of pieces of litter and detract from local aesthetics of the population. So basically, when you're in an environment where there's a lot of cigarettes, it looks bad for wherever you are, whether it be for the state of Florida, Georgia, or regardless of that. Smoking bans would help reduce pollution and keep the public clean. So if everyone could take their part and discard their cigarettes without leaving it on the floor or anywhere, that could greatly help the area and make sure it keeps clean. Also, cigarettes that are left in public also are harmful to birds and other wildlife who can nibble on or swallow them. Especially when you're in a beach or a park, if you leave your cigarettes around, a lot of birds are able to eat them and then they get infected or they can die because of that. Young children may be tempted also to put cigarette butts in their mouths. So leaving cigarette butts on the floor, young children also have a chance to consume them and it could greatly affect their health. It's toxic chemicals. And now, as far as cigarettes go, they also cost a lot of money to the society in many ways. The cost of secondhand smoke is greatly shown as secondhand smoking costs our economy $5.6 billion each year due to lost productivity. Being employed in a workplace where smoking is prohibited is associated with a reduction in the number of cigarettes smoked per day and an increase in the success rate of smokers who are attempting to quit. So prohibiting public smoking also makes it easier for people who are trying to quit smoking because they don't have a chance to actually smoke. Secondhand smoke exposure may cause a buildup of fluid in the ear, resulting in 790,000 doctor office visits per year, as well as 202 asthma flare-ups among children each year. The Society of Expatriates has determined that secondhand smoke costs the U.S. economy roughly $10 billion a year. From these points, you can see that public smoking is giving people a lot of problems and the economy problems as well. Now, when you think about secondhand smoke, you think of we talked about the cost of it, we talked about the exposure of secondhand smoke, which can get into your lungs, can give you heart disease, it causes many deaths per year. So when you think about this in the future, you want to make sure that you keep your public clean. You want to keep your kids safe from this. So if you don't make a change and push for that, then you're gonna have a lot of deaths. As I leave you all today, I want you to think about the points I brought up on how public smoking affects so many people and has negative consequences all around. As Alexander Woolcott once said, today just might be the best day to start seriously thinking about quitting smoking. Picture this in the future. We may not make a change for our future generations, but one of us has to. We will have to endure secondhand smoke unless we all take action and push for public places to ban smoking. Now, I want to thank you guys all for coming today, and that was my speech on how we need to stop and prevent public smoking to help